Thank you, Antonio. Good morning, good afternoon, sorry, everybody. We are ready to start the third day of our kickoff meeting. Today we will discuss about the last day on telemedicine and telecare, and the first presentation would be delivered by Luca Ragazzoni, instead Professor Francesco Della Corte. Luca Ragazzoni is the Vice Director of the CRIMEDIM Center, and he is one of our best research in this field, simulation, telemedicine, and disaster medicine. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, a not topic in these hours, in these days. And Luca, up to you for your presentation, and thank you for your availability.
So, thanks a lot, Professor Emaretti, for the kind introduction. And as Professor said, I'm here today on behalf of Professor Della Corte, that unfortunately has another urgent commitment in hospital. So as requested, I will have a presentation about simulation and e-learning, and I will start presenting some few slides according to the role of Simnova. So Simnova in this project has the objective to create a digital platform for an e-course. And we will have the objective to create the platform according to our long-lasting experience in creating and delivering e-learning course, and especially blended courses. And this is why we have this important task in this project. So I will go directly to the platform that we are using within the European Master in Disaster Medicine to show you how it could look like the platform that we will use also in this specific project. So from this is the website of the European Master in Disaster Medicine. Is a second level master, is an advanced Master of Science in Disaster Medicine, born in 2000, and is jointly organized by UPO and the Vrije University of Brussels. In this case, CRIMEDIM, the Center for Research and Training in Disaster Medicine, is the center appointed by UPO to organize the master. And Simnova will apply the experience used by CRIMEDIM in the project. As you can see, this is an international program, and jointly organized with the Vrije University of Brussels and several other organizing universities that are together with us in implementing the program. From here, from the landing page of the website, where is public, so where everyone can see and understand how the course works. And as you can see, you can have all the role of application, but as you can see, the didactic structure, as I told you before, is consisting of a 1 year e-learning course plus 2-week face-to-face training period in Novara. So this is an example of a blended course that was born in 2000, and we have maintained the same structure over the year, and with the COVID-19 experience, we have upgraded our learning experience. And from here, you can enter the learning page, which is only for the students. Only the student who are enrolled in the course can enter this private page where you have the login. And the page, the learning platform is based on Moodle, which is an open source platform. And there are several other possibilities in the market, but we have been using always Moodle since the beginning, and we are collaborating with another company to maintain and upgrade every year the platform. So as you can see, this is the current year of the course, but you can also go and see other edition of the course. So, for example, this was the 2021, and so on. In the platform, we have been storing all the edition of the EMDM. So, going back to this year, as you can see, there are several modules. Currently, we have opened until the course unit 5, which opened last few days ago, and we will have in total 9 course units to be performed by the student before coming to Novara for the residential session. So therefore, the e-learning session is a prerequisite for the residential session. So all the knowledge, all the learning activities in the platform will be applied during the residential session with tabletop, full scale, and computerized simulation. So, for example, I'll give you a glance of some of the unit. So this is the welcome, where the student understand the objectives, where they can find the syllabus, and for example, a book that are donated by one of our faculty. And then here we have the calendar, we have the virtual room used by Zoom, and where all the sessions are organized. This is what is made. Going back to what we were saying, sorry, but as you can see, the Zoom room is embedded within the learning platform, so therefore you can organize virtual session using Zoom within the platform itself. Then the calendar, and this is a very nice introduction of the students. So each student sent us their bio, and you can also embed videos for each student where they can present themselves. This year we implemented also only the bio for facilitating the uploading of the material, but last year we embedded a very short video cast where all the students presented themselves. And as you can see, we have 35 students from all over the world. All the continents of the world are presented this year, but also in the last year. So we normally select students according to their country of origin. Then I will show you some of the course unit. I would like to show you this one that is very nice. In this course unit, we organize a distance simulation where all the students are work together to implement together a disaster plan for a virtual country. And as you can see, entering here, you can find the map of the virtual country. And according to the map, they can assess the resources available in the country, work together in implementing the disaster plan for the country itself. So, and as you can see, this is a very important tool of Moodle where you can embed some other learning program, and you can have everything in the same page and everything at the same course unit. Then I will show you another potentiality of the platform. I will go to the course unit Complex Humanitarian Emergencies. As you can see, you can embed videos of introduction of the session, but nicely we have implemented, for example, e-learning course from outside. So we have embedded from outside e-learning courses. This is the Be Safe course used by the United Nations. So therefore, all other document or other multimedia activities can be embedded in the Moodle platform. This is then I would like to show you the one final activities. The forum and the video lessons. So here we have embedded videocast.
Was it too late?
And as you can see, you can magnify the lessons from the platform itself. So you don't need any external database. You can embed everything in the same page. And then finally, how the communication works within the Moodle platform. Student and faculty can interact using forum. So forum where the student and faculty post messages. And for example, if you are not in the platform every day, you can choose to have a direct message in your email box, either message by message or a collection of messages, one per day. So we have implemented that all the students receive at 5 o'clock in the afternoon one email that collect all the messages that both faculty and student posted in the platform. know what is going on in the platform, and so therefore the student can then enter the platform to reply or to interact with the student. Moreover, apart from the forum, you can use a very interesting system that Moodle gives us, that is the big blue button. Big blue button is a system embedded in the Moodle, where without any type of like, let's say, password, anyone can open this video chat and interact. So as you can see, you can enter and interact with the student faculty, or you can decide only to listen. And this is a very effective if you compare this system with Zoom, because Zoom you need to have probably a private account where you have the pro account, where you need to schedule the meeting, invite the person, and so on. Yeah, of course, Zoom is very useful and also is very powerful as a system. But this big blue button is very effective in the Moodle, because you can open a video chat whenever you want, and you can record the chat whenever you want, without any type of pro account or any type of password. So, and we use this specific system for improving the interaction between students while they are working together for a specific task. So if you have any question, I'm very glad to answer.
Many thanks, Professor Ragazzoni. As you know, as you can imagine, this your experience as CRIMEDIM is very important and is essential for our project, because we are going to build a digital platform, and your platform for this European master is the best model that we can have and use. Also, this last technical details is very important, and I think that we will copy this model for our platform. Platform that we are going to do with your help, as described and written into the project. So if you can see also from the previous days of this kickoff, we are trying to combine our experience, the main experience within our institution as UPO, but also the main experience in education through simulation from our partners. And in this regard, in our partnership, we are very proud and honored to have the University of Munich, the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich, with our Professor Mark Lazzarovici, who is also the president of CISAM, the European Society in Simulation. So I would like to give the floor to Professor Lazzarovici in order to show your activities as SimLab and the other many activities that you are in the field of simulation, health simulation. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction, and I'm also very happy and honored to be part of this consortium. I have prepared a pretty short presentation. I kicked out all the photos about simulation activities because we all know how that looks like. I will just have a short video towards the end, but I want to show you a bit of the let's say, whole structure of our institute, of our simulation center, so you can better understand where we are. I'll try to share my screen. You should see now the first slide, right?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay, cool. So first of all, because this is leading sometimes to a lot of confusions, there are a lot of abbreviations. It says here Human Simulation Center, and then there is the INM and the LMU, and I think maybe it's not completely clear who is who and what. So I start by our affiliation. So we are scientifically, and in these projects, we are part of the Ludwig Maximilians University in Munich, which is an old and, well, maybe a bit prestigious university, and it has obviously many fields of activity, and the medical school is one of them. And the medical school has a very close cooperation with the university hospital, which is called the LMU Clinicum, which is kind of a separate entity, but all the teaching takes place there, the teaching for students, basically. And the Institute for Emergency Medicine is part of the hospital in the day-to-day business, and is part of the LMU with regards to scientific projects. That's how it works, and that's why in every consortium and in all these partner agreements, we are called LMU, though obviously the LMU is much bigger than we are. And part of this institute is the Simulation Center, which is also a big part in this project, and I will present a little bit about the Simulation Center. But this is the structure, so just to make it clear. Now, the Ludwig Maximilians University, as I said, is older. This is the main building of it in the city center. We are not there. This is the administration and some humanities. It has 18 faculties and a lot of students. It's a big university, and obviously it's based in Munich. This is a nice view of Munich on a clear day, which is kind of a cool place to be sometimes. This is the university. Now, the School of Medicine is offering a 6-year program for the students called MECUM. There are also a lot of students, 5,000 overall over all the years, and it has this cooperation with the 2 hospital campuses. This is the old campus in the city center, built sometime around the beginning of the 20th century. And this is the new campus, which is, well, kind of at the border of the city, but it's obviously more modern and maybe more adequate to some aspects of modern teaching. And the hospital shares this division of having 2 campuses. It's the old city center and Großhadern, which is more at the edge of the city, but more modern. This is obviously the old one. We are very close, located very close to this building. And this is Großhadern, built, I believe, in the 70s. And this is a nice photo, and you think, wow, nice hospital. But the reality of things is, it's they will have to tear it down because it's full of asbestos, and they can't renovate it. They will build another one. That's how it goes with modern buildings. The old ones obviously have no asbestos. They still can be renovated. But this is just it's a big hospital. It has 500,000 patients a year, 2,000 beds, and basically 10,000 employees. Half of them are in the business of patient care, and the other half is basically supportive administrative staff. In my personal opinion, this is not a wonderful ratio, but probably it reflects the reality of every big university hospital. But this is where we are at. This is where we are working, and in the part with the old buildings, basically. And now this is the institute. This is one of these old buildings, and it has been, this old house here has been completely refurbished 16-ish years ago. And that's when we established the Sim Center. You can see on this picture, the Sim Center is in the basement of the building. This is how the architect has drawn it, but it's pretty realistic, basically. Also in the same building, you see here this ambulance car. This is the real ambulance car. My colleague Kati Grujic, who is, I think she hasn't joined today because she's emergency physician on that ambulance car for the whole day. So she probably is on a mission somewhere. So it's a combination of the real ambulance station and science and research. Basically, the aim of the institute is to produce expert reports on the emergency medicine in Bavaria and beyond, to teach students, medical students, nursing students, paramedic students, and to train professionals, so people who are already in the field of work, and to do research and projects. So this is who we are as a partner. And here I have a slide just showing how in the chain of events that lead from an accident or an emergency to the patient being in the hospital, where the institute is having activities, and it's at a lot of places. So we have developed and implemented for the whole of Bavaria a telephone CPR program, where when you call and say there is a person with loss of consciousness, you will be aided into performing CPR until help arrives. We are basically the institute cooperating with the Ministry of Interior and planning the whole system. Where should ambulance bases be, how many ambulances, how many shifts, stuff like that, based on past data and prognosis on the future. Doing the same for the air rescue as well. So in the dispatch part, we are active. Then looking at, well, at the ambulance services and air rescue services, we train people working there. That's what we do a lot of time. We are helping in defining and standardizing all the equipment they are using, and we have established and are running a critical incident reporting system based on the whole of the pre-hospital system, so including dispatch centers, ambulances, and the emergency departments in the hospital. So everyone can feed into this system. And in the hospital itself, we're working on risk management. We are providing expertise for critical incident reporting systems. We help plan patients, how many patients go to which hospitals, patient streams. And obviously we do a lot of training for hospital personnel, and this I marked red because here we also can provide expertise to the consortium. And something that is not so big as what we just saw, but we are supporting our hospital and other hospitals if they are interested in plannings for mass casualties. So be it casualties by accident, or be it like now we have a lot of infected patients. It was us planning for it and implementing it in the hospital. And now if you look transversally, we're working on research on healthcare systems. We are researching and implementing education on patient safety, but also on several medical aspects, like projects on how do you best, what do you best do when you have a pneumothorax, how long should the needle be, stuff like that. And we are working on telemedicine, also classical telemedicine, and some very advanced projects. I'll present one in a second. And so all of the activities of the center are centered around patient safety. This is the main purpose and goal of everything we're doing, basically. And everything is a lot. It's from sim trainings to instructor trainings, but also helping others by consulting or checking new construction sites, and being a research area. So all of this is in the interest of patient safety. And now I'm coming to the more modern aspects of telemedicine. This is a draft of our center with 4 different rooms where you can simulate different stages of a patient. And in the ambulance car and in the clinical area, we have implemented a lot of augmented and virtual reality technology aimed at doing AR telemedicine. And what I mean by that is I'll show in a second. This is a project founded by the German Ministry of Research, where you give medical professionals augmented reality devices. In this picture, it's HoloLenses, but it can be anything, and add a remote expert to the team so they can interact. And this is obviously a big consortium between us and the technical university because it's very computer science based, but I'll show you how it really looks like. So this is our booth last year at Medica. So the guy here wearing blue is the local person in need of help, and the expert is behind the white wall. You'll see him in a minute. I'll start the video. So he is asking for support in adjusting the ventilation for this prone patient. He's wearing the HoloLens to see the expert. And for him, the expert is standing around here, so just across the patient. And on the other side, you see the expert. It's me in this demonstration. And looking up here, you can see the two on the screen. You can see the 2 views. What the expert is seeing, immersed in the virtual reality, he's seeing a reconstruction, a live reconstruction of the scene, and the other guy is seeing him as an avatar. And so they are able to interact and treat the patient as a team. So, oops, sorry. And treat the patient as a team. So you can see how the vitals of the patient are shown and the other person is visible. So they really can interact. And this is what we call telemedicine of the future. I know it's probably a pretty far future, and who knows if we'll use it in this form at all, but this is where we envision telemedicine moving, where a team can interact over big distances in a more personal way, recognizing mimic, posture. It's a much more natural way than the usual way, just using a camera. And now wrapping it up, what are the activity fields we have, and where do we see ourselves in the project? Well, first of all, we are active in curriculum development, be it undergraduate, graduate, or postgraduate, and obviously scenario and course design. We are educating educators in very different fields, and just to complete the circle, we are helping others in center design or technical equipment, bringing in basically our experience. We will, in this project, host educational activities, the blended mobility C2, in the center. Will be part of the tutoring group and select participants for the blended mobilities. And obviously, we will bring in all of our telemedical and curricular expertise in close cooperation with the other partners. And with this, I conclude my presentation. And if there are any questions or any need for discussion, I'll stop the presentation and be back here for the discussion.
Thanks, Mark. It's very fascinating. It's very interesting. I have a question immediately, if I can.
Of course.
For what concern the last part of your presentation, the telemedicine future, of the pretty far future. Yes, but with the use of virtual reality and augmented reality, you talked about the treatment of the patients.
Yeah.
So physicians, nursing can work in a team, even if the team doesn't exist with the patient in that moment. But we can imagine. Can we imagine that this scenario can be translated and adopted in a training, in an educational scenario, maybe during our LTTA, I don't know. I imagine that when our 25 learners will go to Munich, to your lab, maybe they can experience make an experience in some sort with the glasses or other means. Is it possible?
Yes, so I would say it is definitely possible. The system is what you saw just now is the result of 3 years of development. So now we are in the final stages, and it's, to be very honest, it's not sellable yet. So I wouldn't try to sell this to anyone because it's not in a commercial stage, but it's working. We have all the equipment in the lab. So what we certainly what we could do is do a reconstruction of the lab, and everything is live, so it's not recorded. So start the live reconstruction of the lab and have someone at some other location, like for example in Romania and Târgu Mureș, where they do have HoloLenses, because you saw me wearing one.
Yes.
And they could be participating in the session. So this could work, definitely. So all you need is a HoloLens, more or less, and a good internet connection.
A good internet connection, yes.
So we could think how we could incorporate this into the activities, definitely.
Yes, yes. Because as you know, in April, in this April, we have to start the preparation of the e-modules and the context. But after we have to organize the practicing part of our course at Novara, at your university and your lab. So thanks a lot. I see our Snježana Čuklek from University of Applied Health Science in Zagreb, Croatia. Your university, Snježana, is another important partner that adds to us with Mark and the other European partners. So we are very glad and honored to have also an important university just like your university in Zagreb. So if you can, if you want to, please start your talk, your presentation about the department and the many activities you are engaged.
Thank you. I hope that you see my presentation. Is the presentation on? Is everything okay? Yes. Okay.
We can see it.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Just from the beginning. At the beginning, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to participate in this project via educational institution. And it will be very interesting for us and for our students. It will also be very challenging and nice experience for all of us. And thank you for including us. Our University of Applied Health Sciences, we are called in Croatian Zdravstveno veleučilište, is placed in a capital town of Croatia, Zagreb, and we are placed nearby the center of the Zagreb. Zagreb is capital center, so we have lots of opportunities for students to be taught in all our clinical hospitals in Zagreb. I didn't put the picture of Advent, but maybe you heard that we had some of the best events in the last few years here in Zagreb. Our university is established in 1966 as Advanced School of Nursing and Health Technicians. And first of all, I would like to say that in Croatia we have bilateral agreement about the education, and we have students that are taught at universities and at the University of Applied Health Sciences. And one of that University of Applied Health Sciences is our university, and we teach all professions besides, almost all professions besides physicians, and I will tell a few things about that in the next slide. In 1984, we were integrated with the Zagreb University School of Medicine, and since 1966, we are an independent educational institution. At the beginning, we had 2-year study programs, and since 1990...
Sorry, excuse me, Snješana. We can see your screen, but you have to launch the presentation with the slideshow.
You have your two screen, huh?
I'm sharing it. It said that I share. Okay, please.
No, yes, you share, and then you have to launch the presentation. So you can scroll, and we can see the slides, because
okay,
we saw all.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
Now okay, perfect. Yes,
yes.
Thank you. Thank you all. I did almost the same thing the last time. Sorry.
Yes.
Something happened.
Don't bother.
Zoom is sometimes strange. Yes, I was speaking about our university, and that since 1999 we started with 3-year study programs, and in 2005 our education at our university was aligned with Bologna Declaration. So we educate our students at bachelor and special graduate professional study programs. When we spoke about these programs, we have 6 undergraduate study programs: nursing, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, radiological technology, laboratory medical diagnostic, and environmental health engineering. At graduate level, we have 4 study programs that are aligned with the nursing. It is management in nursing, public health, clinical nursing, and psychiatric nursing. We also have a graduate study program, physiotherapy and environmental health engineering. At universities of applied sciences, we cannot have the doctoral study programs. It can be only teach at our universities. Several years ago, we started with our center with lifelong learning, and at the moment we have 2 programs: training program for operating room nurses and training program for geriatric care assistants, and both of them will have new generation this year. At the moment, we have a little bit over 3,400 students that are at our universities, at the University, and most of them are students at undergraduate study programs. As you can see, most of them are nursing students. So we prepared in our project preparations, we said that our nursing students program will be included. We also said about the possibilities of including the students that came from physiotherapy or other study programs like occupational therapy and maybe laboratory medical diagnostics. Our ZVO, our University of Applied Health Sciences BeEmTel team, is I'm one of them, and we presented some of our colleagues last few days for the quality management. In the group for quality management, there is Anna Maria Hošnjak. He is our teacher, and he is a teacher in the field of nursing. She has preparation regarding the chronic diseases in the children. dissemination group, colleague Martina Pancic. She's senior teacher. She is also presented a few days ago. She is a teacher for the English language and Erasmus coordinator. In tutoring group, 2 senior teachers from the Department of Nursing, Sanja Ledinski-Fičko and Martina Smreka, are in that group. Several years ago, we started with the use of new technologies and simulations in education. And in 2000, I believe it was 15, we became a regional APAL training center. And we have some workshops how to apply some applications in education. And we since then use lots of applications in education of the students. And you can see on the picture education related to anatomy. We also use that applications in the teaching students of nursing care, chemistry, biology, and cognitive teaching. Besides using this kind of simulations, we also have nursing lab. In last 2 years, we had a project that was funded by from European Social Fund, and we get lots of new equipment for our nursing lab, and some of them give us lots of possibility related to the simulations. And in the future year, in the next year, we are planning to start with much more simulations in education of students. These are few just pictures of our nursing lab. I believe that we saw last days the importance of simulations in the education of students about basic life support and advanced life support. And as I said earlier, that we, beside using the equipment, we also use lots of applications for the students' education. So this is one picture and another one. And student has to use the application to assess the wound on the pressure ulcers in the patient and prepare the presentation and present to all the group what he saw during these classes. In 2010, we start using Moodle in our students' education. And at the beginning of education, it was mainly used as a repository. So we just put there our presentations and all papers that were available for students. But with the beginning of the pandemic, we have to go to online teaching. And we now use Moodle as one of the main platforms for our education. We use virtual classrooms that was mentioned earlier today, Pivo Button, as one kind of, not just the communication for students, for the lectures, for the seminars, because it allowed us to put students in some group. Besides that, we a lot use Microsoft Teams, because it also has breakout rooms. It is a good way of communications, and this way of using the Moodle will be very familiar for our students, because they, during their education earlier in the study, will be familiar with the Moodle. We also use lots of e-processes. So we have a repository for all books that are published at our university as e-library, so that the student can download book, and most of the books are now available on that way. Little less books are available in our library. We also use e-processes for enrollment, and as evidences of the nursing students. I'm speaking very, very fast, sorry about that. During the preparation of this program, we proposed and included 2 associate partners, and one of our partners are Croatian Association of Cardiology Nurses, and their president is Ana Ljubas. And the second associate partner that we included in our proposal was Croatian Nursing Society of Anesthesia, Reanimation, Intensive Care, and Transfusion. Besides that 2 associations, we have lots of communication with other nursing associations in Croatia, and also with other professional associations with other professions, like physiotherapist or with occupational therapist or radiological technologist. And during the process, we will also contact them as if that would be needed. As I said at the beginning of my presentation, we are placed in the Zagreb, that is capital of the Croatia, and we are the largest nursing student education and all this profession in the Croatia. As I said before, we have 4,000 of the students per year, every year. So we need to provide for them lots of clinical practice, and so that we can do that, we have a good cooperation with our clinical hospital centers. There are two clinical hospital centers in Zagreb, Clinical Hospital Center Zagreb and Clinical Hospital Center Sestre Milosrdnice. There are two clinical hospitals and there are several clinics, and we have agreements with all of them. Also, we have a good cooperation with Croatian Institute of Emergency Medicine, and there are two departments, a department related to emergency medicine and telemedicine center. Besides that, lots of physicians, nurses, and colleagues that work in that institutions are also our teachers and now participate in our education, and they will be available to participate in the future during this project, and they will help us with preparation of the materials that are needed to education in this mode. Our role in this project is creation of the transferability digital toolkit, include educational resources of international best cases and good practices. And the creation of the transferability digital toolkit on the contents of pilot course, including educational resources of the international best cases and best practice. And it aims to support this working and participating in design, training, management, development, delivery, and promotion of learning about the chronicity, telemedicine, and simulation. It will present all of tools, models, best practice, and clinical cases related to chronicity management using innovative technology and digital media. It is intended to be useful for the students of medicine, nursing, psychology, and biomedical engineering, and for those involved in health education in various ways. And it brings together documents and resources useful for teachers and researchers who will support research and teaching activities related to chronicity and telemedicine. And it was mentioned also before, we are not the only one that will develop that THT. It will be produced with cooperation with all partners, and we are looking forward to work together on this part. It is intended to provide inspiration of guidance for students and trainers, and it is therefore intended to be a real reference manual that can be used to consolidate attitudes of critical judgment in dealing with patients, citizens, and chronic diseases. It will include handouts, ways how to validate student learning outcomes, supporting materials, clinical cases, good practices. And it will be available at the platform website, while from selected selections and materials will be adapted versions in Romanian, Italian, English, German, Greek, and Croatian. It means that it will be available for our students in our native languages. And this is, as I said at the beginning, good opportunity for us, and we are all looking forward to participate in this program. And it was my short presentation about our university. I hope that there will be some possibility that we can meet here at university here in Zagreb. Thank you.
Many thanks, Snježana, for your presentation. You have clarified the reason why we are glad and lucky to have a board on board with this project. now, since we are ahead of scheduling, if you agree, I would like to anticipate my brief presentation about tutoring, and after the coffee break, I would like to provide with some update about the budgeting, the project details, and other important aspects. So now I would like to present our tutoring group. Zniezhana previously she mentioned our activity as dissemination, but also as tutoring. So now I share my screen. Tutoring group as an important task because it involves only the university members of our strategic partnership. So we are numerous, but we need to be so many because we have many tasks. Not immediately, fortunately, but at the end of this year, and above all at the beginning of the next year in 2023. These are the members that I would like to thank, all of them. Alessia Bonamperti, Rosaria Lei from Lea from UPO team. Alessia and Rosaria since 2008 collaborate with UPO as nursing tutor, and since 2015 they started to collaborate with Simnova, our simulation center in Novara, as simulation instructors and trainers. And from 2021 they are simulation coordinators for health professionals. While Elias Panagiotopoulos, Elias Valiakos, and Dimitra Mitsi from University of Thessaly. Elias as a clinical, his expertise in clinical critical thinking development, is a PhD candidate and a research associate at the Department of Nursing in University of Thessaly. His main research interests include impact of virtual clinical simulations in nursing education, while Dimitra Nitsi from the School of Nursing is a candidate in research and associate, while Martina Smrekar, Sanja Lebinsky-Pichko comes from the University of Applied Health Science from Croatia. Sanja in particular teaches patient safety, basic emergency medical procedures, and the process of health. Her main areas of research are patient safety, nursing diagnosis, nursing process, and application of simulation nursing education. Martina Smrekar is a member of the editorial board of the Croatian Nursing Journal. She's expertise in simulation-based learning, teamwork in nursing, public health, subjects that she teaches are many, just like teamwork in nursing, and she has experience in preparing students for nursing practice. So I think that we have the best the best people and expertise for tutoring our future learners. Then we have also Sorana Truta and Emilia Turuc from the University in Targamuresh. As you know, our primary aim is to construct a European e-course. We have to select 250 participants. The e-course will last from May 2023 to March, so it will last 1 year. And as Zniezhana mentioned before, we have to construct and write and make available the transferability digital toolkit. But what's important to underline here is that the participant have to come from our university, our universities. The 5 universities involved in the project. These are the macro teams for the e-course, chronic disease, telemedicine, and simulation. But what is important for us is to insist from now at the beginning of our recruitment, we have to insist in particular to the methodology involved in healthcare simulation, because we believe that healthcare simulation is one of the best pedagogical tools, and the role of simulation healthcare is to transition academic learner to a practicing clinician. For this reason, it's true that our participants are still undergraduate, but it's true that they will be graduating so near to the end of the first of the second academic path in medicine or nursing, and they are to approach practices. So we think that healthcare simulation and all the labs that our universities, UPO, or the lab presented before by Mark Lazzarovici, can be the best place for learning something very important, also through a distance modality. And in particular, telesimulation will be our pedagogical tool. Telesimulation, in fact, represents new teaching methodology, whereby telecommunication and healthcare simulation are combined together. And maybe we can apply, I don't know if it's the first time, but I think that it's so new that telesimulation maybe can be applied also for graduating students and not only for young physicians or nurses. So maybe just from the academic, the first academic path, we can apply and use in a good way these important and advanced methodologies. Telesimulation, in fact, is a distance healthcare simulation method, consists of technology used to expand learning, and with limited resources and low cost, learners can benefit from advanced simulation tools, as you can see before in this date, but also in the previous days of our kickoff. During a standard telesimulation learning module, the participants are immersed in a simulated scenario experience. So we have, our ambition is to create also in a distance way a particular scenario and so particular and impressive experience for our learners. I repeated, it's very important to repeat. I'm not tired to do it. BeEmTel's target learners are undergraduates in medicine, nursing, psychology, psychiatry, and we hope also to engage biomedical engineering degree. Of course, enrollment is also open to postgraduate students who have already graduated in medicine. This is an exception, but I think it's important because of the particularity of medicine degree course. The selection criteria for the 215 participants are very consistent with the objectives of the Erasmus project on social inclusion and equity. So as tutoring, we have tutoring groups, so we have to pay attention to passages, just like selections of the also the 50 learners that will go to Munich and to Novara. The course, as we know, will be held in English, but it's true that several materials will be in the respective countries' languages. So for the selection, it's important that participants need to have passed English test as part of degree course curriculum. This is a very important aspect that we have to pay attention to. The participants' selection will pay particular attention to promoting gender equality and addressing differences in relation to the access and underrepresented groups. And we have to engage also, as we hope, 50 participants with fewer opportunities. Also because the e-course is completely free, and every materials will be online and consist of recorded lessons, the most part of the materials. So social and economic obstacles, geographic obstacles can easily overcome. And at the same time, health problems, educational difficulties with some development disorder can be we can overcome, because we have to use on conceptual maps, multilingual materials, and we based on telesimulation, that is an inclusive methodology per se. The first part of the course will be 18 hours on a digital platform. So only on a digital platform, the first part of the e-course for all, for the 250 participants. Then we have a live simulation experience, but only for 50 learners, and we have to split these learners in two groups. Group C1 and group C2, but we have time to decide which kind of learners and which kind of group we have to build and to set. So the particular learning activities designed for the course are suitable for everyone and allow for a high degree of inclusiveness. Foreign students, like immigrants, students from remote and rural areas are particularly favored, as I mentioned before. And the course is entirely structured to encourage student participation, regardless of any impediments or obstacles, I think. This is an important aspect for the enrollment assistance and the future evaluation, because the selection of the beneficiaries will take place at the end of the theoretical e-course for the LTTA, for the learning, teaching, training activities. The selective activities for LTTA will pay particular attention to promoting gender equality, also in this case, of course, and addressing differences in relation to the access and the represented groups, also in this case. So there will be a balance of participants in relation to gender and individual difficult situations. And of course, all beneficiaries can be welcomed comfortably and safely within the group and Simnova structures and universities, and Simnova as a human simulator center in Munich. The beneficiaries are also selected on the basis of the evaluation of intermediate learning tests, and because at the end of each module we as teaching and researchers, as organizers, we have to test. We need also a feedback for the quality of the course, but also for the quality of learning path from our beneficiaries. And also the learners must demonstrate participation and strong interest in LTTA experience. For the travels, we have chosen the green travel option for the journeys of our learners. But it's important when we have to begin the enrollment, we have to do a clear dissemination. And we have to inform clearly about the opportunities for our learners based on our advanced methodologies like telesimulation, but also from a practical administrative point of view, because BeEmTel cannot issue any European certification. So at the end of the path, the 18 hours or also the 15 learners, the entire e-course based on 116 hours. At the end of the entire e-course, BeEmTel cannot issue any certification recognized at European level or at national level. So it's very important to explain this strong limitation. We are aware of these strong limitations, but we can provide also on the contrary, we can provide facilitations within the individual department, because the individual universities will recognize the course in the form of credits, for example, or in other forms that we have to determine together very soon. We have already discussed about these topics, so there will be no obstacles for from this point of view. But we have also presented to the European Commission some other alternative forms of recognitions. We have named arrangements for recognition. In fact, starting from the European classification of qualifications, competence, skills, and occupations, we can use the Europass. This is a tool that will be used by us as a reference framework to evaluate the training curriculum. So each learner will be evaluated through an assessment tool specifically created for this project according to the Europass standards. So BeEmTel will use also the ECVET tool as a reference framework, in addition to all these documents and particular evaluation format and strategies. Thanks for the attention, and if you have any questions before the coffee break about these tutoring activities, but we have time to discuss in other future meetings for further details about enrollments. Of course, our tutoring group will work together very close with the dissemination group, because all this important information about opportunities and strong limitation must pass through the disseminators within our universities. The learners will be in fact contacted through our universities, and in particular through our departments. So it's important for us as BeEmTel as to website already perfectly functioning. And maybe at the beginning, we have to use our website before the platform, because the platform will be the place where the e-course could be, all the didactic materials, and also the enrollment. The final phases of subscription will pass through the digital platform. But a digital platform is far to come. So nowadays we can use our website. And also at the end of this year, we will have our website perfectly functioning. So we have to use it also maybe through a particular format for a general declaration of interest from our students, for example, and other strategies to elicit interest among our students in medicine or nursing and psychiatry and other courses provided by our university. So let's take a break now, if you agree, and we can see in 10 minutes at 3:30, so we can discuss about particular details of our budgeting and the organization of our project. So thank you very much for your attention, and see you later. Welcome to the last session of the last day of our kickoff, the BeEmTel kickoff. So in this last session of our interesting meeting, we have to discuss about budgeting rules and the partnership agreement. So very technical administrative details, but not less important. And in this regard, also important update that I will mention later during my talk. I'd like to remember to our audience that according to the evaluation report, our final score is a 18.5. So it's a very good result for us. And so the grant approved for the project implementation is equal to 275,700. So the budget that we have subscribed and requested to the European Commission. So we are very glad for this. So this is the macro fund distribution among our strategic partnership. So I would like to talk in details about some particular aspect that you know very well, but is the moment is the case to claim officially. So in the first line, as you can see, the project management implementation for all the partners, it amounts to 9,000. Only for UPO is 18,000 euros. This is a particularly very important amount that we have to spend for the project management without any particular certification, but the needs for the implementation of our project, we know, are very are many. So we need this amount is very precious. Also because we don't need to provide particular certifications about the cost for implementation. And also for the transnational project and the multiplier events. As you know, we have different kind of meetings. Our multiplier events are 5 in total and are virtual. I mean, 3 will be virtual in a virtual way, and only 2 multiplier events will be in presence, but only at the end of the project. This is the reason why you see this particular amount for UPO and Ludwig Maximilian University, because the physical in-presence multiplier event will be at the end of the project in UPO, in Novara, and in Munich. On the right, you have the you can see the amounts for the learning, teaching, and training activities. This is correspond to the journey at the individual support for the future learners. The famous 25 learners for each journey, for each training activities in presence in Novara and in Munich. So this is different amounts explain the reason, because every university must provide the 5 learners. So this is the cost for the travel and individual support for these 5 learners for each university. But say in particular, as you remember, this is the list of our multiplier events. So the first multiplier events will be in Greece, but it's virtual. And also for the virtual events, we have some cost for the organization, and this is explained. These heroes 750 euros also for our Croatian partner. In fact, sorry, another multiplier event on June 2024 will be in Croatian. So the same thing for our Romanian colleagues in their university. And also the last multiplier events, the first one in Germany and the last in Italy. But transnational meetings, our project envisions 3 transnational meetings. Transnational meetings, as you know, are the occasion to meet among us organizers and members of the partnerships. So the number of participants for the first transnational meetings and the second are 13, because only for us as UPO we can live with 3 of us. We can live, but every the other partners have the opportunities to have only 2 participants. So 2 participants for each partner except UPO. This is explain why you see 13 and here 13. And the last transnational meeting will be in Novara. So we will be already in Novara, and so it explains the number of participants and the organization. This is the quote that we have available for the journeys. Okay, as you know, this is the total amount for the C1 activity in UPO for the future 25 learners, and this is the grant for the C2 activities devoted to the learning and teaching activities. What is very important is another kind of cost, and we have to pay attention to this. It concerns the project results. As you know, here are the most important cost that we have to justify providing documents. first of all, to us as UPO leaders. So everything must be in order, and every cost must be justified. But which type of cost? The costs are the working days, effectively in practice for teachers who are considered as trainers or researchers, and for technicians, another category for workers devoted explicitly to our project results, for the implementation of our activities described in the project as a project result. So in brief, we have two kinds of categories: technicians and teachers. For the preparation of the models and the implementation, the realization of the activities described by each project result. So this is an example for UPO. And every partner has a number of workers, teachers or technicians for every project result. In some case, no teachers and no technicians. In other case, some partner may have only teachers or only technicians. And in most cases, we have to demonstrate the work days both for teachers and technicians. For the project result number 1, led by our Greek colleagues, UPO has 10 working days for teachers, for example. And what is important is to demonstrate that these teachers, it's not important the number, maybe it can be only one, for example, but through a timesheet, these 1 or 2 teachers have to demonstrate to have worked 10 days. So, and we have to show, and we have to present to a European Commission all the necessary justification for this. This justification, administrative justification, concerns what is defined within the European Erasmus project eligible cost. The eligible costs of the action for the implementation of the project results are costs actually incurred by the beneficiary, I mean by the individual partner, and which meet the following criteria. They are incurred within the implementation period. I think this is the most important aspect that we have to pay attention to, because the costs are high. The working days, many hard working days. So we have to show, demonstrate with justification document that those working days are effectively held during the period of the project result number 1, for example, or the project result number 2. And the project result number 2 starts from April and ends at the end of March. So all the justification cards or justification documents must be provided within this period, and not before or not after. Otherwise, these are not considered as eligible costs. And the eligible costs, they are indicated in the estimate budget for the action. So we have to follow what we have written down in the project. They are strictly connected with the action described. They are identifiable and verifiable from us, from the European Commission. The selection of these technicians and the selection of the teachers must occur within the universities or within the institution, like DSO for Romania or National Italian Institute of Health for what concerns Italy, and the other universities. So this personal working must be must hold an employment contract with the beneficiary, with us as partner, or an equivalent appointing act, and assigned to the action, for the particular action in that particular period of the action. So we as UPO leader, we have some obligation, but also partners have their obligations. In particular, the partners must inform the coordinator immediately of any events or circumstances of which the beneficiaries are aware that are likely to condition, to affect, or for some reason delay the implementation of the individual, the particular action. Maybe also if you change the legal representative, or if there are any financial technical arrangements and change respect of what we have declared in the project. And above all, we pleased to submit in due time to us, to the coordinator, the data need to draw up the reports, because also the payment is deeply connected to the evaluation of these reports, evaluation made by our national European agency named INDIRE. So these reports are very important, and we can do as UPO leader this report only if you provide us the documents we need to show to our agency. Financial statements, other documents provided in the agreement. So reports also for what concern our activities in the working groups, for example, quality committee, as well as tutoring group or dissemination group. So I kindly and warmly invite you to be present, participative in the working groups meetings, because we have to write and provide also reports about this this meeting. And the evaluation of these reports, so the justification, the administrative data information and justifications, but also this other kind of report. All these things are evaluated by the INDIRE, by the Italian European agency, and the final evaluation is important for the payment of the tranches. So now, what is important to do immediately in the next few days is the signing our partnership agreement. As you have received this, our draft, and if you have to make some arrangement, if you have to make, if you have noted some mistakes, please tell us, tell us, so we can correct any information, and we can proceed to the signing in this month, during this month. But it's not so simple to sign effectively. So we have to follow. We have to follow particular technical procedures. And so the first signing the first signature must be done by our German colleagues, after then our Greek colleagues, and so as you can see and read within in the partnership agreement, the signatures are electronic, as you know, but there are particular technical procedures that we have to explain in another moment. We have to agree on this kind of procedures, so we can do in brief time. I suggest to organize a meet in the next few days, so we can define better all these aspects. So what is important, because it's so urgent, because why is so urgent? Because we have already received in these hours the first payment. So we as UPO from India, we have just received the payment, but the tranches for you, we can send the first tranches for you only after the sign of the partnership agreement. So you have to provide the VAT number for the payment, and we have to define the procedures for signing. The future payments are connected and depends on the report, as I told before, and we will do 4 payments. So the first correspond to 40%, and we split the second payment in 2 payments. Okay, for 20% and 20% and 20%. This is there is a reason we have decided to do in this way. So because we have to follow all the activities, and we have to check if all activities are in time, for example, or are implemented in a good way, or anyway in a way foreseen, envisioned by the project. And if we will have some critical problems, I don't know, any kind of problem that we may have in the future, in the next month or the next year, so we have time to tackle to resolve. By November 2022, the lead partner, we hope as UPO must fill in our progress report. So about at the end of this year, we have to provide to India with our first report, and by the 30th of April 2023, the lead partner must define an interim report on the state of implementation. And then only after the end of the project, after 30 or 60 days after the end of the project, we as UPO must define and send the final report. The final report is considered as the request by the lead partner for the payment of the balance. So the coordinator must declare that all the information provided in the request for payment of the balance is complete, reliable, and true. And we have to certify also the cost incurred, and all the costs incurred must be considered admission in accordance with the agreement. And the first payment will be transferred. Yes, is already transferred to will be transferred to each partner organization. as a tranche, as I told before, that corresponds to 40% of own assigned grant amount. So, but this can happen only after the signature of the partnership agreement. And the second payment, which will correspond to 20% of the partner maximum grant amount, will take place within 60 days after the receipt of the national agency payment of the second pre-financing to the coordinator. So we as UPO will receive another pre-financing, and after 60 days we will correspond to you partners the 20% of the grant amount. And the third payment, which will correspond always to 20%, and will take place at month 32 of the schedule. The transfer will be realized always by the project partner, but only if the project partner will fully carry on all its obligations. So providing quality outputs consistent with the planning activities. So as you can see, this is very important. It's a form of check that both the national agency indeed and we as UPO must do to control if anything is right and every obligation is accomplished. The balance of final payment will be made by the lead partner to the rest of the partnership upon successful completion of the project. But it depends only on the acceptance of the final report and upon approval by the national agency, the Italian national agency, after the end of the project. It's important, this aspect. Yes.
Sorry, I understand all this perfectly. I just want to go back to the signature order. So if I understand correctly, Rabea Samak, which is the representative of the rector of the whole university, has to sign first. Up until now, what we did is we sent something to her and she signed like on paper, and then I scanned it. I'm not sure she has any electronic signature. Would a scanned, paper signature be fine? Because I don't want to stop the process just because of technical detail.
No, don't worry. We have to define together, because your modalities must be equal to ours. So every partner, we have to decide together which the best and a simple procedure, technical procedure for the electronic signature.
Okay.
So we'll give all of you the starting point, because the signature, I hope can be very quick once we decide the way to do. Also because we have to wait for the partner. So after you, then University of Thessaly, then the Italian National Institute of Health. Only this is the passage. I mean, they explain that this particular signature must proceed in this way. We have to wait for the partner, then we pass the electronic document signed to the other partner, and we as UPO are the last partner that put the signature of our rector, Professor Avanzi. Okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Loria, if I may, just a short intervention.
Yes.
Thank you. On this slide, it's not changed the name. I sent you the correct name of Dr. Arafat and his Yeah, and also
Yeah.
for the colleagues from the university, you remember I sent you an email. Maybe it's not
Yeah,
updated the slide.
Yeah, yes. Don't worry.
Perfect.
You sent back. I remember that you sent back the partnership agreement with some underlying points with the
exactly.
Because I noticed that the name of, for example, the legal representative Red Arafat was written in a wrong way.
Yes, and
for example.
Yeah, and also his function, his job is not president, is the head of the department. Also for the professor Azamfirei, he's director of the university. But okay, if you got the mail, it's perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes, we received. So we have to send all of you the final official partnership agreement. Yes. Don't worry. Yes, this is a crucial point, I think, for all of us. The European Commission may reduce the maximum amount of the grant if the action has not been implemented properly. I mean, if it has not been implemented poorly, partially, or late, or if another kind of obligation under the agreement has been breached. I don't know, for any reasons or wrong procedures, they may or stop or delay or reduce the maximum amount. So the amount of the reduction will be proportionate to the degree to which the action has been implemented improperly. So it's a very serious problem for all of us. As you notice, within the organigram of the BeEmTel and in the partnership agreement, maybe you will read this part at the beginning, the constitution of this steering committee. Because the steering committee is the decision-making body of the project. So if there is, I hope not, but if there is any problem with the representatives or no, with any technical problems, steering committee must be informed and act to the national agencies. So the intermediate between us and national agency must be the steering committee. Composed by our director, scientific director, Professor Amereti, from myself, and the one of you or partner. So who decides who have the power to decide inside your institution, because the steering committee is has this problematic and crucial situation to manage. It's an executive board. So it's very important to create, and I hope that in this month for the partnership agreement, maybe it's the case to organize a meet. The first meet of the steering committee is important also to demonstrate to the national agency that we are organized following the partnership agreement. So it would be quite strange if we have this final important document. I mean, the starting document as the partnership agreement is, without no meeting of the steering committee. So I think it's urgent to organize a meet. You decide which are the component of the steering committee for you, but I think it's natural to think to you, Bogdan Pop, or to you, Mark, to be part of this steering committee. If you need any clarification, I say here also Michela Barisone. So I think I hope it's clear, and I suggest you to meet very soon to discuss the procedures for the signing of the partnership agreement in the next day. So we have to provide the final version, but the final version of our partnership agreement is linked and depends on the particular data, just like your VAT number, because in the partnership agreement for proceeding to the signatures, the VAT number, for example, must be written down. It must compare in the document, so we can meet and decide the technical procedures. I finished, so if you have any other questions, please. I would like to ask Snezhana. I remember, I think to have received an email. Is it clear about the partnership agreement? Is okay for you?
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah, we read the agreement. I spoke with the dean. Everything is okay. We are prepared to sign it. I was waiting for this meeting to see what will be the next steps and how we will proceed from now on. Yeah. I also sent you I sent you bank details. I think that's okay. Will you write it down in this paper? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. We receive also an email of approval from our Romanian colleague of the University, George Emil Palad. Also the approval from National Italian Institute of Health. An answer also from our Dr. Bogdan Pop. And for you, Joanna, it's okay, the agreement, the draft. Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, Evangelos.
How are you? Yes, it's okay. It's already signed. I will forward to you via email. Okay.
Emiliano, I have sent you the name of the vice rector is Ioana Laliotu, and in the slide it is Luana.
Okay, but in the slide, I opened
just
the document.
In the slide.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I will send you the partnership agreement via email by today. Okay,
that's an important goal. So we have defined the partnership agreement. Now in the next day, Professor Ameretti, so we have to say this to our research office, so they can provide the final version and proceed for the signature, for the signatures. Yes.
We send all this information to our office in order to prepare the final version and send it to all the partners for the signature.
So we have to organize this technical meeting for the procedures, because I think it's easy, but at the same time, maybe we have decided all together the same modality for the signatures.
But I suggested to use for all an electronic signature. Probably every one of us.
Yes, but there are, I think that there are many modalities for the electronic signatures. and we have to choose one modality.
Okay, we will try to understand what is the best and the simplest way to make these formalities.
I'll also check with the office of the rector to see what they can, what they have, just to know the requirements.
Yes,
I know that in Italy, if you make your rector make your signature and send us the document, we will sign all on the same document. Probably we need to organize a deliver of the document from one center to another center in alphabetical order, or I don't know what is the best way. However, the last to make the signature probably will be the University of the Eastern Piedmont. The other one would be on an alphabetical order. However, we check, I repeat, what is the best and the simplest way for this. At the end, electronic signature have complicated our life, not simplified, not simplified.
But anyway, until 2 years ago, this partnership agreement traveled around the countries. So we prepare, we send to Mark, then Mark sent to us. Maybe electronic way is the best way, but
however, we will travel the document probably. Okay.
Okay. So thanks for the attention. Thanks for the
time. Thanks for all the time you give us in these days. Thank you also for the information shared with us. This is very important. This is the first stone, the first step for this project. I'm very happy. Thanks to all, and thanks to Emiliano, because you have shared. You have chaired the 3 days in a fantastic way. Thank you.
Thanks you all.
Yeah, thank you, Emiliano.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Emiliano.
Thank you.
So the next meeting will be in Greece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. On June.
My second land, Greece. I'm probably in the other life I was a Grecian man, probably, I think.
This is what I think for myself, that I was Italian woman.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In this moment we are all Ukrainian, unfortunately. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye, bye. Thank you.